Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Okay. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm used to. Oh my God. What you know what happens is every time I log on, pretty much StreamYard, which is what everyone uses. It's the platform that everyone uses. So if you ever decide to get on well, if you ever decide to start doing podcasts and things like that, where you're doing video on YouTube and live streaming and everything like that, you're gonna go on to StreamYard. It's an application everybody uses. I mean, and then right now I'm giving them free free advertising on my platform, but that's okay. You know, it's a great program. But every time I get on here, there's something new that happens. So what they told me now is that I can do multi-platform. They call it Mars, and it's like multi-platform. So some people watch it on TV, watch me on TV. Some people watch it on the phone, right? Or they watch on a tablet, and you have different aspect ratios. So now, I think starting sometime soon, they're gonna. And I mean, when I say soon, I mean this week. I think they said tomorrow, the next time I get on or whatever. Um, you're gonna be able to like it adjusts. It just automatically adjusts to whatever you're watching. So if you're watching this live on your phone, it'll adjust. If you're watching it on your tablet, it'll adjust. If you're watching it on your TV, it'll adjust. No matter what you're watching it on, it will adjust. So it's a great thing. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. Thank you, StreamYard, for everything that you guys do. I think you guys are, the money I have to pay you, you're definitely making it worth it. Okay. It's your boy DJ Mad Scientist, and yes, this is the Midday Madness Show, Hot Topics Edition. This one's gonna be long. This one's gonna be long. What? Yes, I actually have some very interesting topics today, and I have a lot to say about whatever I'm going to be talking about. And I like it. And I like it. Oh, what was it? And I like it. Boom, 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 boom. Down, down, down. So anyway, yeah, we got a lot of good topics. Hopefully, I stay clear of the YouTube, all their guidelines, and that way I could really like get my reach out there. I could reach more people, especially here in the United States. It's not that I can't talk about anything I want to talk. It's just that until I get to a point where I have a lot of United States. That's one of those things on the back end that you got to know. You'll see somebody with a lot of followers, and you don't know where those people come from. Okay, they could have, there are some people with legitimate million followers from, really good parts of the globe, right? And when that happens, y- you know, yeah, you get really, really good engagement. But then there's sometimes where you might get a lot of followers at the beginning of your process, and they come from areas where either when you're live, they're asleep, okay, or they came to you for one specific reason, okay. And in my case, I have people, most of the people that follow me right now are in the Philippines. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that they came, first, they're another part of the world, and they came because I'm DJ Mad Scientist, right? And I have these mixes on my channel. So if you go to my channel, you'll see that I have all these R&B mixes. And so, like in the United States, man, come on, trying to get trying to break into like the R&B mix, top 30, top 50 is really, really hard because everybody does R&B mixes. I mean, who doesn't, right? And even if you did hip hop, everybody does it. There's a lot of people out there. Whereas you'll get probably a lot more coverage if you're outside of the country, you know. So you get more support outside the country for that. But when it comes down to hot topics and things like that, people outside the country, they don't really understand. It's not affecting them. They don't understand. They're like, what is he talking about? Who is he talking about? Let me just go listen to his mixes because his mixes is fire. And so that's what I have, So the whole key to breaking into the United States is, especially if you're not talking about government or something like that, something related to that, which I don't even want to name it. I don't want to say it. It's just hard. It makes it superly hard to break in and get traction, right? So I try to stay in my lane. Hot takes is, packed out. It's packed out and popping in the hot takes world, right? But that's okay. I'm not trying to break into some other world outside of hot takes. And sometimes YouTube, the AI, analytics, the spiders that go through your whole stream when you're uploading it, it doesn't understand the nuance. They don't understand, like, I'm just talking hot takes and music. Just because this person can cross over the subject that I'm talking about, can maybe cross over, I'm not really in that other world. And it's and sometimes I'm pretty good at it. Sometimes I'm not. Last week I was pretty good at it, but the week before I failed at it, and it sucks because I give some good content, and then you realize, like, oh, it's crossing over. So today is one of them situations where I'm gonna be down that fine line, but I've gotten pretty good at trying to, like, stay away from that line, you know. And so, yeah, what I do here is hot takes, hot topics. I let y'all know what's going on, and then I give you my perspective on it. And the reason why I think I'm pretty good at it, but I just need to get more traction. I will over time. It's gotta be patient. Gotta be patient. Last week I was not patient because last week was a little boring. I gotta keep doing this every week. You can't be skipping a week because you think, oh, I don't want to talk about these subjects. Nah, you got to dive in. You got to make it kind of entertaining, even with that, right? Last week was kind of hard, but this week I think I'm gonna be okay with it. Okay with it because it's touching some things that I'm really, really, really into. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. Um, since the 1990s, what? Yeah. Um, since the 1990s, no rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100's top 40 for the first time since the 1990s. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and get into it. With Kendrick Lamar and SZA's 13-week Billboard Hot #1, Luther falling off the Hot 100 dated October 25th, 2025. There were officially no rap songs in the chart's top 40 last week. The highest ranking rap song, defined as a song deemed eligible for charting on Billboard's Hot Rap Songs listing on the October 25th Hot 100, was NBA Youngboy, Shot Calling at number 44, Cardi B Safe featuring Kalani, and Big X The Plug, Hell at Night featuring Ella Langley, was ranked in the 40s at number 48 and 49, respectively. Okay, the last time before that, when there was zero rap songs in the top 40 of the Hot 100, you have to go all the way back to February 2nd, 1990, when the top rankings rap song was Biz Marquis' eventual top 10 hit, Just a Friend, which, by the way, was one of the first songs to get sued for using a sample. Just some historical context. That's crazy how long 1990 has been, right? Starting a Hot 100 streak of rap songs in the top 40 that will last for the next 35 years, 8 months, and 3 weeks. Recent rule changes in Billboard's Hot 100 methodology did play a part in the streak coming to an end. For the chart dated October 25, descending songs were deemed recurrent and removed from the chart if they had exceeded certain durations on the chart while also falling below certain updated chart thresholds. For instance, if they had fallen below number 25 after spending over 26 weeks on the chart, that particular song resulted, or that particular change resulted in the departure of Luther, which had fallen to number 38 on the previous week's Hot 100 in its 46th week on the listing. So without the rule change, which I don't know why they made the rule change, but because of the rule change, Luther is not in the top 50. Okay. It would have been somewhere around 38. I'm not going to say it was 38, but it would have been somewhere around 38 if the rules had not changed. So that puts more context into the into this whole little debate, right? However, with Luther and 7 other songs in the Hot 100's top 40 going recurrent on the October 25th chart following the rule change, there was also extra opportunities for songs below them on the chart to rebound into the top 40 or reach it for the first time. No rap songs were close enough to the threshold to be able to make the jump. Also in the way are all 12 songs from Taylor Swift's new album. Okay, well, that's going to make a difference. Okay. Taylor Swift drops an album, they're going to occupy pretty much top 10 to 20. And in this case, they do. The lack of rap songs in the Hot 100's top 40 is the latest sign of a recent dip in rap's commercial dominance. Hip hop's overall market share reached a peak in 2020 when it neared 30%. That has slipped to just over 25% in 2023 and has been at 24% so far in 2025. I mean, when they talk about market share, meaning like most of the songs in top 100 are going to be like 24, 25, 30, right? In the Hot 100 charts, that means 30 songs, okay? But right now, so far, it's only 24 songs in a whole of 100. 24%, 24 songs, especially when you're dealing with the Hot 100. Hopefully, my audience understands that, right? We understand that? Okay, cool. I can move on. All right. In the Hot 100 chart for the equivalent chart weeks 5 years ago, a whopping 16 of the top 40 were rap songs, while the equivalent chart 2 years ago, there were 8 rap songs in the top 40. Okay, so just give me an example. How many more paragraphs I got to read? Okay, just 2. It is worth noting that the rap world is currently in a bit of a in-between moment with some of its biggest names. Drake, the biggest chart mainstay in the past 15 years, and the artist with the most Hot 100 hits of all time, has not yet released his much anticipated Iceman album, while his 2024 for Lamar is finally somewhat dormant following an 18-month period of cultural and commercial dominance. However, the last few months have not been totally without rap releases. Both Cardi B, Big X, The Plug, closest to the top 40, have released new albums since August. And even with a new album, Drake has released a steady stream of new singles since announcing the album in July. Luther is also the most recent rap song to appear in the Hot 100's top 10, last doing so on the chart dated August 2nd, when it ranked number 9 before falling to number 12 the next week. In the 2 months and 3 weeks following that chart, the closest another rap song got to the Hot 100's top 10 was Big X, the Plugs All the Way, featuring Bailey Zimmerman. I'm surprised it got that high with somebody's last name being Zimmerman. But I digress. Which ranked at number 22 for the Hot 100 dated September 6th after peaking to number 4 in April. On this week's Hot 100, dated November 1st, 2025, the rap songless streak is extended to a second week as once again, no rap songs rate in the chart's top 40. However, Shot Calling does get one spot closer to ending the drought by breaking into the region, climbing number 44 to 43 this week. All right, so that is the story. That is the news. What's up, Erica? How you doing? I didn't see you because I was reading the story. But that is the news and that is the story. And, you know, the way that the article is written, if you're not in hip hop, you'll think, oh my God, there is a problem. Okay. That's if you're not in the hip hop community. What do I mean by that? Meaning that if you're a casual fan of hip hop, if you just only like the ones that's popular, maybe you go to a club and you hear a hip hop song, you're like, ooh, what's that song? Okay. And you just like that one song. Maybe you don't even know who the artist is, but you like that one song. Or you might like Drake, right? But you don't really like hip hop. You just like Drake. Okay. Or if you're just coming into hip hop because you're a Dodger fan or you're a fan of the NFL, you're a sports fan, and you've heard about this little beef thing. What is beef? I know what beef is, but why are they beefing? You know, and you picking and choosing based upon what you're hearing from the battle. Yeah, I mean, you're the ones that say, I'm gonna go to Billboard and find out about hip hop. And that's cool, you know. But if you've really been into hip hop, you really love hip hop, then the fact that hip hop, the news for me, because I'm someone who loves hip hop, the news for me basically was that it was a thing, that there's no hip hop on the Billboard Top 100. I was like, oh, word? Is that a thing? I didn't even know we had that kind of 35-year streak. I didn't know that I didn't even know that you got what I need. Would you say he's just a friend? I didn't even know that made the top 10. I mean, I was really super young at that point, but still, I didn't know that. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know, the narrative right now, there's a little narrative out there right now that somehow hip hop is in decline. And there's more of a narrative, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. But the first narrative is that hip hop is in decline because we didn't make the Billboard Top 100 or the top 40 or the top 10. And I would like to remind those who look at that headline, that clickbait by Billboard, and get them to realize and recognize that Billboard is a major corporation. And yeah, it also is a little messy and it likes clickbait. And just like most people in hip hop that use Erica, we're not using that word because I don't get any coverage when I use that word. I don't even like saying that word because YouTube kind of limits me. It puts me up against, you know, the Don Lemons of the world when I use that word. So I'm not using that word. But I will just say it's the BS, right? It's the BS. Like Billboard knew, okay, we need some kind of bait, we need some kind of traction, we need some kind of attention. Let me put out Let me put out something, some kind of clickbait so I can get attention. I mean, it got my attention. And I don't even go to Billboard for hip hop news. Like I've never in my life have said, I want to know what's going on in hip hop. Let me pull out my Billboard. I will say this. The only reason why I pay attention to Billboard, and I have a membership, right? Limited membership. I can get the charts. The only reason why I do that is because I'm also in radio and we have to like keep an eye out for new hip hop that gets into the top 40. Obviously, I don't have to download anything new this week because nothing's in the top 40, right? But because I'm in radio, I have to like download all the rap in or hip hop that's in or R&B that's in top 40. Outside of that, I pay like $100 a year and it's like, all right, it's a tax write-off, you know? And so I can write it off on my taxes. Other than that, I don't, and I get the magazines sent to my house. And I think for next year, I will not do that again because now I remember why I don't have magazines. I mean, they stack up. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God. I remembered. I was like, oh, that's why I don't get the magazines anymore. Because nobody reads them. So they can just stack up, right? And they're just there. And there's a bunch of trash. And then I got to go through the added like problem of ripping off my address because I don't want people knowing my address. You can't just throw it in the trash. You got to rip off the address, and then you got to take that part and you got to like put it into the shredding mix. And then I'm like, why am I going through this? Why did I even decide to have Billboards sent to my house? And I'm like, this will not happen next year. And that goes out to people who say, oh, they should really bring back vinyl. They should bring back CDs. I'm like, you need to go out and buy some vinyl and CDs and then try to take them outside of your house. Don't have them in your little bookcase, all snipped there nice and pretty. No, put them in a crate like we used to, and then put that crate in your car, drive somewhere, and then have to pull that whole crate out and take it to somewhere else. Then spend 8 hours at that location. And then when you're tired, pick that crate up and take it home. And all of a sudden you'll realize why streaming is always going to be here, unfortunately, no matter how bad they pay us, no matter how cheap the payment rates are, the streaming ain't going nowhere. Streaming's not going anywhere. I did a private party this past weekend and inevitably, and it was a Black woman party. So, and Erica, you'll get a kick out of this because you're from Texas. So I'm out here in California. Well, apparently the thing to do out here in California is cowgirl line dancing. Yeah, that's what we do out here in California, right? We do cowgirl line dancing. And so I didn't get the memo because I'm in the club and we don't do a lot of line dancing in the club. But when you have private parties, well, you got to pull out the line dance songs. And so I don't have the line dance songs. I forgot the artist that they even asked me to bring up. You might know who the we line dance everything. Yes, but there's certain songs, there's a certain artist that does line dancing, right? In fact, let me look it up because it's gonna bother me if I don't look it up. Country girl line dance song, right? Tony Armani. Tony Armani. You know that guy? Let me know if you know that guy. Tony Armani, right? Apparently he's got a couple songs out there. I don't know where he's from. I just kind of attribute it to Texas because it's line dancing. But apparently line dancing is a huge thing out here now in California. And so I had to, I had to play these songs because they're requesting it, and it's a private party, so I got to do it. I can't be like, oh no, I don't have that song, and just or hey, come back and ask me for it later, right? Can't do that at a private party. So I went to my phone, hooked my phone up to my controller, went to Spotify, and found every line dance song they needed, including Tony Armani. Okay. Shout out to Tony Armani. Hey man, you doing your thing. I appreciate it. Back to the subject at hand. Now, there's a couple of narratives. So, narrative number one is that somehow hip hop is declining, right, on the Billboard charts. And another narrative that surprised me was the fact that people are taking this opportunity to say how trash hip hop has been. What? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna East Coast hold you. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a fan of all of the younger, and when I mean the younger, meaning if you got a little in front of your name, or or if your name is an acronym, I'm pretty much not listening to your music. Okay, if your name is an acronym, you got initials, but it's a long acronym. I'm probably not listening to your music. But I recognize that, I'm of a certain age. Okay. And, I don't understand. I just learned what slime was, right? Like, I learned that recently. Okay. And some of the language I just don't feel like use. I don't feel like it's age appropriate for me to use certain words, right? Like my son told me that on fleek. Now, this was not recently. Okay. So don't laugh at me, right? But there are certain words I just like. He was the one who told me stop using on fleek when it was appropriate to stop using on fleek, right? Um, there's another phrase that people use all the time. I can't think of it. Um, there's another phrase that people use all the time that I can't think of right now, and I've got to make a little pause. Hold on. Don't leave. I'm just going to make a little pause. All right. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. That was a first. Hey man, it's live streaming. It's live streaming. All right. So anyway, okay. So just so that I could like go ahead and kill this elephant in the room. Why was the pause there? Okay, so I ordered pizza. I'm out here in California, and I know that there's some people thinking, well, just tell them to put it out on the front. No, I ordered pizza, and where I'm at is not as simple as leave it out in the front. And I was hoping that they would get here before I started the stream, but nope, they didn't. So guess what? I had to go out there and get the pizza because if I did not, then the driver would have taken the pizza and I would not have anything to eat after the show. So there you go. All right. So where was I? Let me digress back into it. So anyway, yeah, there are some people who are taking the opportunity to say pretty much like, especially the white supremacists out there, that hip hop is trash. It's bad culture. Hip hop is declining. It's about to go out like disco. Okay, for all you guys who are thinking that that might be the case, if you came here to hear me bash hip hop, you might as well understand I love hip hop, and most of the people who love hip hop, we don't rely on outside sources. Billboard is outside sources. Billboard is not of the community. Billboard is not invited to the picnic. Billboard is the feds. So we don't listen to Billboard as to what we think about hip hop. And, yes, there's a lot more people. There was a time in the 90s that there wasn't a lot of hip hop artists out there compared to now. So you could kind of, you know, concentrate your efforts. Like in my case, Tribe Called Quest. Everybody loves Tribe Called Quest. It wasn't a lot of Tribe Called Quest type music out there. There was, what was it? Uh Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, there's another De La Soul. Um, but there was a small group. That was the point. There was a small number of artists that kind of fit into that mold. So anybody that likes that like alternative hip hop, not the traditional hip hop, didn't want to hear, the gangster hip hop. All right, well, we all had to go to Tribe. Now, fortunately for us, Tribe is really, really good. It's one of the greats as far as I'm concerned. But it just wasn't a lot of tribes out there. Now, Atlanta, if you got Atlanta rap, okay, well, you got different kinds of Atlanta rap. But in Atlanta alone, how many artists you got? I'm not going to go to Google machine and find out, but I'm going to tell you it's a lot. Okay. And then you got to go to Erica's point, to Erica's part of town, Houston. I don't know if Erica's from Houston, but she's from Texas. You're not going to find her. It's a big state. The point is that you got Houston as NASA the county. You got Houston hip hop. You got Memphis hip hop. You got Miami hip hop, Chicago hip hop. You got and Detroit hip hop. You got you got way, 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 way more hip hop. So the fan base is spread out more. I mean, if you come out here to California, you got hip hop coming from Long Beach, you got hip hop coming from LA, you got hip hop coming from West LA, you got hip hop coming out of, and this is just the LA area, North Hollywood, you got hip hop coming out of Fresno, you got hip hop coming out of Bakersfield, then you got hip hop coming out of Stockton, Sacramento, you got different hip hop coming out of the Bay, even the Bay. Yeah, Fresno. That's where my family's from. Fresno. Shout out to Fresno. Shout out to Jock. Like, it's hard when you're related to someone because you know their real name, but you forget their rap name, right? And my cousin would be pissed. I'm like, well, I've been calling you Jock my entire life, right? Just like he would not call me mad scientist. You're not like me and him are not hanging out and we're calling each other rap name. Okay. He would call me by my government name and I would call him by his government name. And so there you go. Anyway, yeah, and everybody sounds different. So it's diluted, you know, hip hop, there's more rappers. So, hip hop is more spread out. So it's not, I don't feel like it's the fact that hip hop is declining. I feel like the fact is hip hop, someone said it on the Joe Budden podcast, and we're going to talk about the Joe Budden podcast. I'm going to get on them. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to get on them. It's one of my favorite podcast shows. And I really love listening to them. And I listened to a couple podcasts this weekend because I went to Vegas. Anyway, hip hop is, they said it on that show. Hip hop is more than just music. It's a culture. It's never going to go away. And, as long as you have someone like Pharrell, who is one of the head designers at Louis Vuitton, and he's curating these designs to hip hop music, I don't think that hip hop is going away. So yes, I'm adding my voice to the narrative that says, the fact that hip hop is not on Billboard top 40 means nothing because most of us, when we want to go look at hip hop or find hip hop, we don't go to Billboard. We don't even go to Spotify. Like I don't go to Spotify to find new hip hop. You know where I go? I go to Black women private parties. That's how I find out new music. I'll be honest with you. When I want to find out new music, I go ask Black women. Because pretty much Black women know what they like, and whatever Black women like, eventually everybody else is going to like. And I'm saying that not as a Black person, although I am a Black person, clearly. I'm saying that as a DJ, okay? Very rare. You have one exception, Bad Bunny, okay? Then we have to go to the Latinos, and then we ask them, like, what song is hot? And then after we figure out that which Bad Bunny song we like, then we take it over. Like La Chona is now a Black person song. I didn't play it at the Black woman party. I wasn't really sure if I could, but I kind of feel like I could have if I just had, but at the club, I play La Chona. That is our song. Da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. Okay. Another one, Suavemente. Suavemente is a Black person song now because Black women love that song. That song was dead and gone. Nobody wanted to hear Suavemente, Bésame. Okay. They didn't want to hear it. And then Black women took it and they adopted it and they resurrected it with CPR and brought that song back. And I have many Latino friends. I have many Mexican friends that just roll their eyes and gasp like, oh, why are you playing that song again? And I point to the dance floor and I said, I'm not playing it for you. I'm playing it for them. Okay. Black women resurrected Tamia. Remember, Tamia was out of here. She was gone, retired. She's married to Grant Hill, out there looking all refreshed and beautiful, like she goes to the spa every day. Right? Like you can just tell when a woman is rich because her skin just looks different, especially women of color. Like if you have any kind of color in you, whether you're Asian, Latino, or Black, you have any kind of color and you're a woman and you go to the spa regularly, your skin just glistens. Okay. And so it's like Tamia has glistening skin, right? Because she was retired and Grant Hill is like mega rich, right? They never look, she's Tamia NBA, right? Tamia NBA. And that's a double entendre. But Tamia will never be broke again. And she's beautiful, just naturally. Well, I wasn't playing her music until Somebody made a challenge of it. Black women, they had the Tamia challenge. And now I have to have the song and I have to play it almost every week at brunch. I'll be so happy when that challenge is over. Little did I know that I have to this week download some country girl line dancing. Little did I know, but I will be doing it for this week's brunch. All right. So to wrap up my point on hip hop, look, and I'm just putting my voice out there. Hip hop ain't going nowhere. And for all you casual fans, for all you non-real hip hop fans, for all you guys that just kind of came in and see hip hop culture as like Disneyland. Like I come there, I visit, but then I'm going home. Okay, cool. Y'all go over there to Billboard and get your information. But real hip hop heads, we hit the streets. We go to the people. It's got to hip hop resonates with us. It makes us feel, okay? And for those who think like, yo, hip hop is getting trash, like, come on, like I don't really want to get into that narrative because um the 6-inch heel challenge. Oh my God, you got to send me those songs. Okay. I like to be ahead of time, Erica. So send me those songs on IG. So I already have them. And send me all the country line dance, if you don't mind. Please, 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 please send me those songs. Okay. Because I don't want to be like going to Spotify. And I like to be able to say as a DJ, oh no, I got that. I was gonna play that next, girl. Yes. All right. Boom. All right. But for those who are kind of casual hip hop fans, look, y'all gonna be casual hip hop fans. I get it. It's like Disneyland. You come here, you enjoy yourself, and then you go home after the weekend, and that's cool. You don't got no more Kendrick and Drake. And to be honest, here's what nobody is saying right now. It's Christmas time. Nobody want to go to jail over some content. Everybody want to stay out of jail. Everybody want to be home with the families. You know what I'm saying? And so ain't nobody out there making content. Ain't nobody out there beefing with their baby mama or their baby daddy. Nobody wants to go to jail. Nobody's doing crazy stuff in hip hop to get attention. So it may seem like, like, wow, y'all kind of quiet over there. But we're really not quiet. It's the holidays. We want to be at home. We want to watch all the Christmas cartoons like the Grinch. What's y'all favorite Christmas cartoons? Mine is the Grinch. Always watch the Grinch. Charlie Brown Christmas. Oh, you gotta watch Charlie Brown Christmas. That's like staple. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the original, white supremacist Santa Claus. My mom really got me into all the Christmas stuff. I'm sorry. It's like my mom made me believe in all the propaganda. And that's where I lose all my Africana studies points. I lose all of my Africana study points during Christmas because I'm just like all in. Like I really feel bad, over the Grinch. I do. And he is like the model of capitalism and white supremacy. And I just be like, I'm so happy that he changed his heart. His heart got bigger. Oh yeah, Frosty the Snowman. Okay. You remember Miracle on 34th Street? That was like my mom's favorite. Oh man. And then I'm so glad my mom has passed away. So she would never like know that Jimmy Stewart was kind of like the way he was. Cause she used to watch It's a Wonderful Life like every year. That one and the original the Wizard of Oz. My mom was from Oklahoma, so she was well indoctrinated. My dad, on the other hand, he worked really hard to get that out of us. Anyway, before we get into the next topic, I do want to share something with you guys really, really quick. Okay, now that you know a little bit more about my life, you guys are probably thinking, yeah, Norman, we know. All right. If you have not already, it would be great if you did go to my merch store. Okay, just go to the merch store and pick up some merch. I got a nice dad hat here. And just keep in mind you can click the photos and you can see all the many colors. So I got a red hat for those who like red hats. I got a pink hat. What else? My most popular item is my hoodie. Okay. And I got that in different colors. So Dodger blue is popular. There's the MAGA red, and there is the North Carolina light blue, and there's the Raider Nation black. Okay. So different colors. And then you do have different options. So you have 2XL, large, XL, different sizes you can get, right? And but even with that, if you like large, I would get an extra large. If you like extra large, I'd get a 2XL. If you need bigger than that, just hit me up and let me know. But I do have different colors. Again, I have a gray. Okay. So I know right now the dark colors are in, and in California, Dodger colors are in, but you do have those options. And then if you just like t-shirts and the beanies, and I have different color beanies too. Okay. I have red, pink, Dodger blue, Raider, black. Okay. I'm a Raider fan. I'm a Dodger fan. And then girls like pink and they like red. All right. And then you got backpacks. Look, I got a backpack. Mad Scientist backpack, right? For your kids. Okay. It's a really great backpack. It's really sturdy. I did order one. I order all this stuff because I want to make sure I know that it's good product. And so it is good product, and I give it away to people. I got t-shirts. This was a very popular t-shirt. A lot of people got it. I love walking into the club and seeing it, right? But this also comes in different colors. And it's only $20. Okay. Mad Scientist, Saturday brunch and day party. Okay. So if you want some merch, give it away for Christmas. Go to my website, www. Erica says, no red hat. We can't do that. Like, we can't just like discount red, right? So go to my website. All you gotta do is hit the little QR code up in the upper left corner. Hit that QR code. I'll take you to the website, and I will definitely appreciate you. And I appreciate shout out to all those people who have already bought. I appreciate you as well. Okay. All right, let's get into the next story because I have to go off on one of my favorite podcasts. Okay. There's a thing going on right now with Black on Black podcast wars. It's not really, I will tell you this. Let me explain it to you. It's not the P word. It's not P word. Although it touches in that area, which I'm not going to go in and explain like the nuances into that. You can go to the different podcasts. In fact, let me the podcast, let me put it into the comments what the podcast you can go to. You can go to Native Land Podcast. You can go to Roland Martin. Roland Martin is from Houston. Erica, that's your guy. Roland Martin Digital. It's something. Just Roland Martin. He's the only one. You also have the Joe Budden podcast. And you also have the Breakfast Club. That's not really a podcast, but it's a radio show. Breakfast Club radio show. I think that would be the best way to find it. Okay, so you can go to all these places, and right now they're beefing primarily on some ideological views, right? Like, who's smart and who's not. right? Getting facts. Facts should matter, right? And it's very interesting to watch because I'm what you would consider an academic, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not a snobby academic. I don't throw it into people's faces. I do mention it a lot because um I'm new to this space, so I just kind of want everybody to know where I'm at. I want people to know I'm not on here just talking. So therefore, I will mention it, but over time, I don't think that I'll be mentioning it. Once people know, like, oh, he's an Africana studies major, that's where he's coming from, and people just know it, then I won't be mentioning it because it's not one of those things I just want to throw into people's faces, right? But at the same time, you have another contingent of non. Um, I don't. And here's how I always put it. I think you have people who are intelligent, and that has nothing to do with education. You can be intelligent and not be educated, and then you could be educated and not be intelligent. That's my take on it. I know a lot of people who are very educated, but they're just like dumb, right? And yes, Erica, this is the battle. But I'm gonna tell you why I'm talking about it. So yeah, there's some people who I went to college with. They're just dumb people, right? They just fall in and do stupid things, right? I'm related to someone like that. Just dumb, really smart, well educated, but just dumb, right? All right. Um, you got two masters, one bachelor and two masters. I mean, if you're gonna flex like that, just go ahead and put it out there. Just what you get your bachelor's in, what you get your masters, put it in the comment. So anyway, and then you got some people who are not educated, but just really, really smart. And there's a lot of those people out here, especially with black men who tend to historically be focused on making a lot of money. Okay. Capitalism in the black community is nothing new. Okay. That was one of the things that we got from these Europeans. And we're like, we adopted it. Okay. I mean, little known fact, there were some black men. It was one particular in South Carolina who actually owned people. He had a plantation, he owned some people. He was black. Okay. I'm not gonna look his name up, but because I can't remember it, I don't want to remember his name. It's not like I want to put him into my Rolodex, my memory Rolodex. But yeah, there were black men who owned people. Okay. Capitalism is one of those things that black men picked up and said, it's nice. Okay. Um, and so there's a lot of people who are very not educated but highly intelligent. Joe Budden is one of those people. He's a genius at what he does. Charlamagne the God, highly intelligent, not educated. And these people will tell you, I didn't go to college, but they're able to be very successful. Jay-Z, especially in hip hop. Okay. And I'm not going to go into why they're able to be successful and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to say that they're successful, right? That's the point. And so right now there is a war going on between those who are intelligent and those who are educated. And right now, the intelligent crowd is saying, well, y'all broke. You academic people, we don't know you, you're broke, and you guys are still on plantations, meaning large corporate, meaning iHeart. Okay. We out here independent, make our own money. And I want to say this to Joe Budden. Okay, one of my favorite podcasts, and I'm not going to do the shout out to Joe Budden. I love you, but I'm not doing that. It annoys me when people say that. I'm just going to just say it. If you think that you're going to successfully beef with Tiffany Cross, you're going to find yourself alienated and telling yourself, oh, now I'm over here with Stephen A. Smith, and I don't have ESPN to back me up. Let me say that again. To the Joe Budden show. Yes, you are independent black media. And if you think that right now you're the hottest thing, okay, we all come to you. Educated or not, we go to Joe Budden. Why? Because it's entertainment. It's not information, it's entertainment. Okay. And the great thing about Joe Budden, which makes him different than Charlamagne the God, is Joe Budden knows he's entertainment. Joe Budden doesn't say, I'm trying to be information. Now, he's brought on Dr. Mark Lamont Hill to be the information guy, and respect for that. I respect him for that. Joe Budden knows that he is just the entertainment, and he doesn't mind being that, which makes it great, because most of us go to his show. I tell people all the time, I disagree with 90% of what Joe Budden says, but I like how he says it. It's entertaining how he says it. And as someone who has to do this for an hour, he does it for 3 hours. To be entertaining the whole time is hard. But Mr. Budden, don't make the mistake of thinking that somehow you'll be able to withstand the onslaught of black women who love Tiffany Cross. They ride for Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross is like Tupac for black women right now. Why? Because she fights against MSNBC, CNN, she's got smoke for all of them, and does it unapologetically. She does it unapologetically. Now, you may think in your head, Mr. Budden, oh, well, I got mostly black men, which you do. You do. But if you think that we're going to you'll be Stephen A. Smith. Okay? Stephen A. Smith went down that road. He went down that route. He thought I could just dog out black women and black men will not care because I talk about sports. I'm popular. They like me. And what he is finding is that he has to go a different direction, which I don't want to say the direction, but y'all know which direction Stephen A. Smith is going. He would wear the red hat. In other words, he is a red hatter. He has to go that route because he can't come. Just by association and birth, he has a card to the picnic so he can come, but he's going to be on the far reaches over in the back talking to the other outcasts. And Mr. Budden, I like you, but I don't want to see you over there in the outcast section of the picnic. I just don't want to see you over there. And you might, listen to your show, you might like it. And you're like, man, I'll make it fly. I'll make the outcast section over here look good. But you really just don't want to be over there. Not with Tiffany Cross. And I understand that you might, for those who don't know, it wasn't even Tiffany Cross that started this podcast war. It was more Angela Rye. But Tiffany Cross is the type of person where she rides for her girls, kind of like Young Jeezy. She rides for her ends, right? Now, she wouldn't say ends, but she rides. Okay. So when Angela Rye decided, I'm going to say what I got to say with my whole chest, Tiffany decided to ride with Angela. That's her girl. I understand. Now, there was a lot of brothers that came to your defense and they begrudgingly was like, yo, Angela, we respect you, but come on. Like, I think she punched Joe Budden hard, right? It was a little disrespectful. It was, right? But at the end of the day, it was resolved, okay? And once you get that resolution, it's kind of like, okay. But Angela Rye took on the mantle and said, it was me. Okay. It was me. I did it. Okay. Now, if you haven't seen the podcast, you can go. Exactly. Joy Reid is one. See, here's the thing, Joe. You go against Tiffany Cross, you're going to go against Angela Rye. You're going to go against Joy Reid. And once you lose those two right there, now George, now you're gonna bring in Rachel Maddow. Okay, I'm just telling you, you're gonna lose Abby Phillips. Okay, you're gonna lose, and then once you start losing, you know, Rachel Maddow, and Rachel Maddow will come in with her Rhodes Scholar and do a whole, you know, a whole piece on how your show is detrimental not to only the black community. I mean, you you'll be done. And then once you try to go at Rachel Maddow, then you got the Karen of news, um, Morning Joe's wife, Mika. Right. You go after, and she's the Karen of news. Okay. So that means she gonna call the news feds on you. Is that a word? The news feds? Yes, the feds of the news to come after you, and then you're done. And then you'll be Stephen A. Smith. Okay. When Snoop went after what's her face? I can't remember her name. Um Oprah's friend. When Snoop went at I'm gonna tell you, when that Snoop thing went down with when that Snoop thing went down, I laughed. I ain't even lie. Like, Snoop is funny. And Snoop was kind of right. He was kind of right. Okay. Yet Gayle King, when Snoop went after Gayle King, it was funny, and Snoop was kind of right. Okay. But Snoop went one step too far. Okay. He went one step too far. And that's the point. So you could be right, and you could say something, and you can be like, okay. And once everyone says, okay, then you kind of have to let it go and be like, all right, just let the moment linger, let the moment last, and everyone will have that understanding. But some men will then take that opportunity of everybody reflecting and say, let me throw one more in, okay, to make it clear. And that's where you mess up. And I feel like Joe Budden is in that area right now where everyone understood that Angela Rye was wrong for saying that the Joe Budden podcast was dumbing down America. Okay. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Joe Budden was dumbing down America. He has no mission. Joe Budden never says, like, hey, come to me to get information, all the information you need. Joe Budden is like, yo, I give you the most crazy take on it because this is the craziness in my head. And he tells you at the beginning of the show, don't listen to it. This is like, we're not responsible for the things that we say. I'm not going to go into his whole recitation at the beginning, but it's kind of like Law and Order, right? You know, has a little thing at the beginning of the show, like Law and Order, like a little speech, right? And then you get into the music, and it's ingenious. So none of us go in there knowing the disclaimer, thinking like this is an information show. I want to know about what's going on in the world. Let's go to Joe Budden. No one does that. So, and we respect that. But at the end of the day, I feel like right now, Joe Budden is in that era, that time of reflection. And instead of him just like letting it go, okay, because you had people on the Native podcast, Native Podland, the Native Podland show. You had people that are on there, Bakari Sellers, who actually defended Joe Budden. Okay. Bakari defended you on the show. He actually, in the moment, at the time, Charlamagne the God went off Breakfast Club, came on the show and defended y'all. And you and Charlamagne the God don't see eye to eye. But he was like, no, there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger narrative, right? Let's not put that post out there or that thumbnail that was out there, dumbing of America, Joe Budden podcast. And I agree with that. I was like, oh no, I love you, Angela. I love you, Tiffany. But come on, like that's too much. He's not dumbing of America, right? Now, after all that was said and done, I mean, you keep throwing out these little shots. Oh, Tiffany Cross, she's nobody, she's nothing. I'm just telling you, um, speech that uh, that man got from the gang. I forgot the gangster's name. It was in the first installment of the Batman. Yeah, Carmine Falcone's speech in Batman Begins. Okay, he says you think your power comes from money, your toys. These guys are not afraid of you. They're afraid of me. No, 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 that's not the part. Uh, Let me see. Hold on. It is so relevant to Joe Budden. I gotta find his speech. Oh, they're not gonna. Okay. Says, I didn't come. Okay, here's the scene. Bruce Wayne says, I didn't come here to thank you. I came here to show you that not everyone in Gotham's afraid of you. And Falcone says, only those who know me, kid. Look around you. You'll see 2 councilmen, a union official, a couple of off-duty cops, and a judge. Now, I wouldn't have a second's hesitation of blowing your head off right here and right now in front of them. Now, that's power you can't buy. That's power you fear. Bruce says, I'm not afraid of you. And Falcone says, because you think you got nothing to lose. But you haven't thought it through. You haven't thought about your lady friend down at the DA's office. You haven't thought about your old butler. Bang! People from your world have so much to lose. Now you think because your mommy and daddy got shot, you know about the ugly side of life. But you don't. You've never tasted desperate. You're Bruce Wayne, the Prince of Gotham. You'd have to go 1,000 miles to meet someone who didn't know your name. So don't come down here with your anger, trying to prove something to yourself. This is a war you don't understand. And you always fear what you don't understand. That was one of the best speeches ever written. I love that speech. That's Batman Begins, Falcone. And I would say to Joe Budden, okay, you have to go 1,000 miles to find somebody who doesn't know you. But over here in these academic streets, okay, it's totally different. It is totally different in these academic streets, in these people where facts matter, in these streets where people do the deep study, where people do they do the deep thought and they do the sacrifice. Most importantly, for all you guys that come into this space talking about, well, how much money you got, I want to remind you that most of the time, the black men who made all that money, eventually they got hung. Oh, yes. And all that money was gone. I think Biggie said it. All the money I stacked up was the money for bail. They figure out a way to take that money from you. Now, back in the old days, they hung you and they just took it from you. And you had to have Ida B. Wells come in and talk about how bad it was and start giving lists of how many men were getting hung. And you go to the backstory and you realize that these black men weren't really looking at women, at white women. These were black men who were making money, got a little land, was able to make some money, was a little bit richer than everybody else, driving around in a car that's a little bigger than everybody else, wearing nice suits. The most famous example we have is Tulsa, okay? Greenwood District, the Black Wall Street. All those people were making money, getting paid, didn't need a white soul in that area. But at the end of the day, something happened that people never thought would happen. Yeah, white people in airplanes throwing bombs over Baghdad in the 1920s. I said to myself, they had planes and bombs. Like they had the presence of mind to sit there and say to themselves, we are so angry at these black people for making money that we're going to create these bombs, put them into planes and drop these bombs on them and destroy the whole Greenwood district and then pretend like it didn't happen. And so I want to remind the Joe Buddens of the world of that case. That there is some people out there who do the black liberation thing, which, by the way, the reason why black women are not feminists is because they are typically womanist, kawaii womanist, or just womanist, because they are concerned about the entirety of the community, not just female, not just issues that deal only with women, but they deal with the whole entirety of the community. And one aspect of it that they don't focus on is trying to make money out of it. A lot of these women, no, they don't make. Tiffany Cross is probably never going to have as much money as you. You'll be able to ball out on her forever. But that's because she's willing to make that sacrifice in order to see black liberation happen. Angela Rye will never probably make a lot of money. Okay, mainstream media does not want to hear Angela Rye getting on TV talking about black liberation. It's never been a thing. Okay, you're never going to see Tasha Brown get a lot of money because mainstream media is not interested in platforming a woman who's dedicated her life to black voting and black voting rights. So what mainstream media does like is when black people get on the stage, shuck and jive. When black people get on the stage and make jokes. Oh, we love that. Okay, we love it all day, every time. We make movies about it, comedy skits about it. People wish, there are people who are not black who wish they could tell black jokes because black jokes always land. There's no word that can be said like the N-word that is funnier than the N-word at the right time. And when you can say it, oh, that's entertainment. So yeah, it's like, got it. You got a lot of money. You'll make a lot of money. But you got to understand that we do recognize people like Tiffany Cross, Joy Reid, people like, Angela Rye, and the many other people out there, other black women out there who sacrifice making that money, who are not going to get on a stage with some tight jeans on or some tight shorts, bending over, twerking, who are not going to do that. But who are going to sit there and say, I am concerned about the whole of my community. I'm a womanist. I want to make sure, I write down our history. Shout out to Nicole Hannah-Jones. She's never going to be rich. She's never going to be able to drive up the street, honk, I got a Lambo. But her work was important. And that's what we need to recognize when we're having all these podcast wars. And over to Charlamagne the God. Yeah, facts got to matter. Facts have to matter. And it's not enough for you guys to come into this space talking about, I get it. I'm not saying that Joe Budden is not concerned with the liberation of black people. I'm not saying that Charlamagne the God is not concerned about the liberation of black people. But we have to know our lane. We have to know, hey, listen, this is not what I really do for real. Charlamagne the God is entertainment. That's what he is. He said so many bad facts. I know there's a lot of politicians that go on that show and a lot of people who want it, but they're dumbing down. Let's not get it wrong. Let's not get it twisted. Those people that go on the Breakfast Club are dumbing down their because they realize that the average American does not want, they would rather be entertained than to be educated. They realize that. Okay. They would rather be entertained than to be educated. We know that to be true, especially when there's economic despair going on. Okay. Entertainment always does well when there's economic disparity. You look at what industries did well during the and I'm right there on the line right now. I'm hoping that they'll put me into the entertainment section. But if you look at the Great Depression, what did well during the Depression era was the New York Yankees, because the New York Yankees were entertaining. They were entertainment. Boxing did well during the Great Depression. Gambling did well during the Great Depression because people were like, hey, times are tough, but I still need to get off. I still need something to do. So, especially now, if you're doing entertainment, you're going to see good numbers. You're going to do well. But don't get it twisted. You're not who you think you are. And, there's people out there, and I'm not trying to call Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, and all the rest of them, Abby Phillips and all the rest of them that are out here on these streets trying to Laura Coates, trying to educate Black people, trying to expose Black people, trying to uplift Black people, liberate Black people, not trying to call them gangsters. Okay? But as Falcone said, people from that entertainment world have so much to lose. Okay? Now you think because you went through some hard times that you know the ugly side of life, but you don't. And what Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God have to understand is that you're not considering the fact that you take a lot of those characters, like Joe Budden said, hey, Mark Lamont Hill was a free agent. He was out here. I picked him up. Yeah. Minus the Joe Budden podcast, Mark Lamont Hill will be a free agent again. Okay? Flip will just be out there shooting content. That's just real. And probably Ice and Ish will probably go back to doing what they did before. Ice will be a troll. Ish will go back to construction and just be like, okay, I'm cool. And probably the biggest person that will lose in that battle will be Parks, because nobody is going to choose Parks over Tiffany Cross. No one, not even one, maybe you. And you'll be wondering why. Why did this happen? Because listen, brother, you made your point and we all defended you, but what you're not going to do is call Tiffany Cross a nobody. That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to call her nobody. Okay? Because at the end of the day, as a member of the African American community, I'm sorry to those who came here for entertainment. And y'all like, man, we in Africana Studies class. I came here for entertainment. Listen, what we're not going to do is bash a Black woman who's out here trying to fight for our liberation. That's not what we're not going to do. And me personally, I don't agree with all of them that come around. There's a couple of names, notable names. I don't agree with their politics, but you'll never know. You'll never know who they are, because I'm not going to get on here and bash them for that. And I feel like I have a legitimate reason not to agree with their politics, but I will not do it because I know that they have put in the work and the time and they have made the sacrifice. They've chosen not to be rich. They've chosen not to be rich. And a lot of times, in retrospect, they really do be right. In retrospect, they really do be right. I will say, in one case, and I'm going to end this segment with this. Nikki Giovanni and she had a very interesting conversation with I'm sorry, y'all. My like sometimes I forget the names. Nikki, um, it's a guy. Gio and James Baldwin. Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin had a very interesting conversation. And I wish everybody that's listening to this would go back and just Google or YouTube search the discussion between Nikki and James Baldwin. Now, James Baldwin was a gay man, right? But they have probably one of the most powerful conversations for the Black community. And you really need to look at that conversation because the one thing that Nikki Giovanni, and by the way, I agree with her politics, um, that she talked about was that when a woman loves her man, what she wants more than anything is for her man to just be whole human. And James Baldwin's like, yeah, but we got to go out here. We got to make this money. We got to do this, got to do that, got to make this money. And because I want to take care of mine. And that's admirable. But really, what a woman wants is for you to be a whole man. And I just think that some of us Black men, especially, we get so caught up into just trying to make this money, trying to get these houses, trying to get these cars. And I understand I'm a Black man. I want the same thing. Okay. We out here trying to compete in this capitalistic world, in this capitalistic society. And what the Black woman is saying to us is that what we want most importantly is for you to be a whole man. Killer Mike said something that was very deep one time. He was on the Matt Hoffa show, the now defunct Matt Hoffa show. And he was saying that, he did a lot of study, in religions, different religions. And he's starting to believe that maybe at the end of the day, what we'll find is that God was sitting next to us the whole time as Black men. That God was sitting next to us the whole time. And he pointed to the Black woman in the room. And maybe, just maybe, we might just be looking at God every time we look across the table, look across the room, look across the picnic, look across the dance floor. We're looking at Instagram. Maybe we are looking at God. And what God is telling us is just be whole human. Embrace the whole of your humanity. As opposed to just saying, yo, I got all this money, so now I get a chance to step on you because I feel offended. All right, that's my thing on the podcast wars. Hopefully, I'll be able to push this out further into the entertainment section because I don't compete in that other section. I don't want to. All right, I know I'm going over time, but that's okay. It can happen every now and then. A couple things that just came to my head, came to my mind. And I know I've been on some super Black people stuff, but it is what it is. Have you seen the new Nelly Furtato photos? Let me show it. Okay, I'm sorry. This is, I have to plan this. I have to plan this show out, and it was on the show. It was on the plan. Bam. And now I'm not looking at it from the point of like, ooh, she thick. I'm looking at it from the point of what? Like, I have not seen Nikki Furtado since she was, let me show y'all what she used to be. Okay. Let me show you what Todd. Let me show you what she used to look like. And all of a sudden, this picture just came across my timeline. Hold on, let me find out I knew it from the 90s, and I think it was like one song, right? But she was like skinny. Like she was like skateboard skinny. And then all of a sudden I can't find it. Can't find it. Nikki. Oh, Nelly, not Nikki. That's the problem. See, that just lets you know I don't know her, right? Nelly Furtado. Her name is Nelly Furtado, right? But she used to be super skinny, and now Nelly Furtado is, and did I call her Nikki? Okay, Nelly Furtato. She used to be skinny. Let me put in skinny. Yeah, this used to be her. I should go from that to the other picture. Like, wow. She went from this to this. I mean, well, she started off as this. This is Nelly Furtado back then. This is the one I knew, right? And now she's this. Wow. Now she is 46, so it happens. But I was just shocked. It just came across my timeline. I was shocked. And so, I know I went on that whole like black liberation speech, but okay, it is what it is. All right, let's get into the next thing. Tory Lanez is in for 10, in California. The court denied rapper Tory Lanez's appeal of his conviction in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting. California court on Wednesday denied rapper Tory Lanez's appeal of his guilty verdict on charges he fired a gun at Megan Thee Stallion. A 3-judge panel from California Second District Court of Appeals issued a ruling saying that they affirmed the conviction of the 33-year-old Lanez on the 3 felony counts. Lanez was convicted of 3 felonies in December of 2022: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. His trial became a cultural phenomenon with the prominence of its key players and a discussion it raised about gender, race, hip hop. It has nothing to do with hip hop. Had nothing to do with hip hop and online toxicity. Okay, just online BS. Okay, it did have a lot to do with online BS. Nothing to do with hip hop, but then again, this is the AP News I'm reading from, so they're going to make it a narrative that hip hop is the way that it is in their mind, which is why they don't listen to it anymore, and which is why it's not on Billboard Top 100, Top 40. All right, Megan, whose legal name is Megan Pete, testified that in July 2020. Okay, we're not going into the story again. We're not going to relitigate this story. It's not something I want to talk about. So if you're here to talk about that, and thank you, Erica, for telling me I had a good show. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. But not going to relitigate that. But just for those who are wondering what my position was back then, I said there's no way that man is going to not go to jail. I live in California. I know people think California is so liberal, right? I got my air quotes up. California is so liberal. No, California is not. I'd say to people all the time, California is racism 2.0. Is racism perfected, okay? It may have started, California is like, we do this to everything we get. We didn't start hip hop, but we can sell it and just package it and just make it nice and send it out to the world, okay? We didn't create racism here, okay? Although there was, but as soon as they found gold here and then their heels, they started mass deportations back then. Read your history books, okay? They started deporting everybody as soon as they found gold here, okay? Became a state. They were deciding they're going to be free or enslaved. For a minute, it was going to be enslaved. They found gold here, right? But they went on with free, and they didn't fight in the Civil War. They was just collecting money from the banks. I mean, the banks was just collecting money from the gold, okay? And probably financing a lot. And then you got the redlining that's here, still affected. Everybody thinks LA is so diverse. No, it's not. If you're from LA, you know it's not diverse at all, okay? And them red lines is in them streets thick, okay? California know how to red line. And they got, Baltimore has nothing. Maryland has nothing on California. So I knew when he had, the reason why California, people don't know, the reason why we have gun laws here, okay, is because the Black Panthers decide to go up to the California Capitol with their long guns And Mr. Ronald Reagan said, nah, we're going to have gun control here. And guess who supported it? The NRA. Yep, the NRA, founded right after the Civil War, was here during the 1960s, and they supported gun control in California because them Black Panthers surely did go up there to the Capitol and say, y'all going to start gunning down our people in the streets. Y'all gonna stop gunning down our people in the streets, which led ultimately to the Rots riots. But like I said, you didn't come here for that history lesson. The point I'm trying to make is that Tory Lanez was not going to get out of the state of California. Once he got arrested for a gun charge, he was not leaving the state of California, not without time. And that's just the bottom line. It don't matter if you thought it was him or if it wasn't. No, everybody that live here in California, if you're in an incident and there's a gun in charge, everybody's going down. No one's getting out. Megan wasn't trying to save or trying to convict Tori. She was trying to save herself. And I'm not mad because she would have been here too, over in Willowbrook. I know where the LA County Jail is. It's in the hood, for real. They got a Lindsay Lohan wing. Okay. That is in the hood, okay? But Megan was like, I'm not going in like that. That's what it came down to. It was like, all right, there was a gun involved. It was discharged in Hollywood Hills. Everybody's going in. If you can't save yourself, you're going in. The driver was like, yo, I was a driver. Okay, you good. Okay, now there's 3 more people. And them 2 ladies got together and said, nah, not us. He was wilding. And when you have like California, a state like California, they're more apt to believe that a black man was in there wilding, shooting guns, and talking about dance. It's just way more believable in California. So sorry for all the men that was like, nah, but she said this and she said, bro, if you're from California, you know. Okay. And I'm from California. I'm not saying that she was telling the truth or not. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just saying Tori was at home chilling. You, Tory Lanez, you at home chilling. You at home chilling. You don't get a call 3 o'clock in the morning thinking like everything's going to turn out well. I don't think it's 3. I think it was 12. I forgot the details. But you don't get a call from drunk women thinking I'm going to go over here and everything's going to end well. Not the way that he was thinking. And I'm not taking up for nobody who is not smart enough. Remember that? Can't intelligence, academic. You can't. I'm not taking up for someone who's not smart enough not to know that if you got a call from a bunch of drunk women, that was not going to end well. I'm not going to be on your side. I'm sorry. It was not going to end well. And then your intentions was to like, I'm gonna hit all of them in the same room and let all of them know, yeah, I'm that guy. Like, nah, I'm not taking up for you. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the girlfriend that shot. Whatever, you should not even been there. Should have stayed at home. Okay. All right. Speaking of Canadian men who should have just stayed at home, Drake decided he was going to troll the Dodgers. Not only troll the Dodgers, he was going to troll the most popular Dodger. He was going to troll the best player in baseball. That's who he decided, I'm going to troll. The best team, and not only the best team, but the best player on the Dodger team, Shohei Ohtani. That's what he chose to do. He chose to troll him. Well, let's read the story. Drake is almost definitely in his feelings following the conclusion of the 2025 World Series, which resulted in his home team losing to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who gladly took the opportunity to troll the rapper after their victory by using some Kendrick Lamar lyrics. After triumphing beating the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 7 on Sunday, November 2nd, the Cali team shared a group photo of the players and staff wearing World Series champions shirts, and they still said, and the shirt said, they still not like us. The Dodgers wrote in the captions, quoting Dot's famous Billboard Hot 100 topping diss track against Drizzy. Dizzy. The ribbon comes after Drake spent most of the World Series trolling the LA team's star player, Shohei Ohtani, on social media. Following Game 5, the Toronto native has shared a picture on his Instagram story of the pitcher wearing a sweater vest and wrote, "One more." After which he posted a photo of Jays Trey Yasavage striking out Ohtani and gloating, "Savage already on the way to the dugout, boss. LOL." The thing about Drake is that he's one of those people that just show up and say, "Slap me in the face." He shows up to a boxing match with no gloves and just says, "Punch me in the face." He'll show up to a comedy show late and go straight to the front row trolling the comedian. Drake is that guy. Like, he wants it. Isn't there a word for that? Like that, those people who like, what are those people called when they go into the sexual activity? I think I can say that now. I'm like an hour plus in. The sexual activity where one person is beating up the other person. Drake likes to get beat up. I think that's what it is. Probably he gets with people and they just beat him, and he's happy with that. Like the SMM or SMN or something like that. I don't know what it is because I'm not into it, but I think he's that guy. He's definitely the guy that will go to a comedy club where the comedian is killing everybody, and Drake will go to the front row and smile. Or he'll go to a boxing match with no gloves on, and he'll just say, "Hit me in the face." Drake was in attendance at Game 6 on Friday, October 31st, which ended with a Dodger win. Yes, indeed. That was genius. I watched it. After the team won again 2 days later, securing the World Series trophy, Champagne Poppy shared a diplomatic post on Instagram writing, "Congrats to the Jays for a dream season and a legendary World Series fight." Yeah, whatever. The Dodgers, however, weren't the only ones eager to tease Drake after their big victory. Nike, et tu, Brute? Et tu, Brute? I mean, Nike was like, isn't Drake signed to Nike? Nike also trolled the rapper post-game by sharing a cinematic montage of the LA team set to Not Like Us. While Fox Sports, we talking about MAGA Sports, posted an edited photo of Lamar driving off with the World Series trophy, leaving a disappointed looking Drake in the dust. Oh my God. That's the one thing you got to know about America. If you come at one of us, if you're not from here, like literally, if you're not like us, all of America is going to fight you. Like, we might fight each other, right? And we do. We go at it state by state, city after city, gang after gang, crew after crew, educated versus academic or educated versus non-educated. We go after each other. But when the Olympics come, y'all not like us. We tend to win. The repeated of Not Like Us to drag Drake definitely adds insult to injury, as the musician's headline grabbing defamation lawsuit against UMG over the song's lyrics was recently dismissed. Oh, Lord. Even I'm reading this from Billboard, and they got to put their little jab in. Just a reminder, hey, Drizzy, didn't you have that lawsuit and you lost? And you can file that appeal all you want, but you're not like us. All right, y'all, listen up. I went way over. Erica, thank you so much for staying here. I appreciate you always and every time. Please send me that list of line songs, or just send me the artist. If you send me the artist, then I'll have the songs. Excuse me. But out here in California, They loving those country line dances. So send me either the songs or the artists. Hook me up, hook a brother up. Okay. And so I'll have that. But thank you everybody who came here, who stayed, who's watching this. Don't forget, please go to my website. You can always go to the QR code, check out my merch. And I'm pretty sure you'll like it. I have some people in Dallas that like it. What? Yes, yes. They like my music. They like everything, so go check it out. I'll be back on Friday where I'll be talking about music. I'm gonna be talking about music marketing. We're in the middle of our AI discussion. We're talking about AI. I've been training my AI assistant, and this week I think we're ready. I think we're ready to like go over to Suno and test it out. Let's see what we get. See what we get. And so that's what we're gonna be doing on Friday. So come through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That I'll be live. If you can't see it live, then obviously I'll post it and you can watch it later. That's what a lot of you guys do. Please like and share. Please like and share. I do get people that follow me, and I appreciate those who come follow me. I just want to get some more. I want to get up to I think I'm at 15,000 something or 16. I want to get to the next 1,000. I think I'm at what am I? Oh, no, I'm at 12. I'm tripping. I'm at 15,000. No, I'm at 12,000. I want to get up to 13. So please like and share. And I'm consistent. I'm always here. Erica will tell you. And very soon, I'm going to start adding some. In 2026, I'm going to start adding. I'm already getting the content ready, so I can start adding some tiers. So for those who want to join the channel but want a little bit more content, for it's going to be the cheapest $2. I'm going to have special mixes because that's what y'all like. So I'll have special mixes. I'm thinking about adding some other things that will be a tier above the mixes. I'm not sure about interviews because I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I just got to figure it out between now and the end of the year. But I will be adding more things to the channel. I'm also thinking about doing listening sessions for those who come here. For that, I'm thinking about doing. The reason why you would come to me is because I am a DJ on the radio and I'm also in the clubs. I'm actively out there in the clubs. So sometimes if you listen to me on radio, I'll be having a crisply, crackly voice because I'll be in the clubs, like for real, right? I was there. I had a Taco Tuesday event yesterday, and I could tell you what people like. So you're going to come to me, not because I'm saying, oh, your music sounds good. I mean, I'll tell you, but more of, is it relevant to what people are liking out here in these streets? Okay. So if you want somebody that's got boots on the ground, that's why you'll come to me. And I could do that. That would be a different tier. Like if you want to do, but I got to decide what I want to do. Because once I decide I got to do it, I got to do it. I really don't like doing hot takes, but I do it because I already started. And I got people like Erica who come here every week, and I don't want to be flaky. So whatever I start doing, I got to make sure I can do it every time. Not sometimes, but every time. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. This is the first time I've gone close to 2 hours, but I think hopefully it was worth it. And who knows? I might start doing it more often instead of trying to cram everything into 30 minutes. But we'll see how this one video does in terms of viewership. If it does well, then I've already got Erica's take on it. And the fact that she's still here, she said it was a good show. That lets me know that maybe I could spread my wings a little bit. But I got to see, because like I said, with YouTube, they like to section you off into things. And if you put me in the wrong section, then I don't get as much coverage because I'm in the wrong section. And I'm not going to be in the Don Lemon section. I don't want to, I'm not heavy into that. It would be like, I'll be like Charlamagne the God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying, and I have the ability to do that, but I'm not going to do that because I like DJing. I don't want to be deep study like Roland Martin, and I'm not having Roland Martin talking about I'm doing disinformation. So I try to stay in the entertainment section as much as I can. All right, with that being said, I think that's it. I will see y'all on Friday or next Wednesday. It's up to you. I love y'all. Y'all have a great and wonderful time. And always, I got to come up with a goodbye, right? Always, always think positive because you do have a choice. You could think negative or positive. So just choose positive because it just feels better. All right, y'all. I'm out.